Oh boy. Okay. So I'm still experiencing new Windows 10 growing pains. Um, my settings for OBS, I could not find my old settings for that. They're in there somewhere. So I'm just running with default right now. This is pretty much OBS, just plug and play. So if the quality is not quite right, let me know. Very poor audio quality. There we go. That's yeah. It's all my fault. I should have tested. I should have been a professional and done stream tests. Or just, you know, copy and pasted the original OBS files straight from the backup. That's what I did to Steam. I should have done it with OBS. Yeah, it kind of sucks because I thought I had things set up in a way that would work, but obviously not. Okay, in terms of Okami, how poor is the audio quality right now? Tabletoppers? Is Tabletoppers canceled? C drive. Do we have what I want in life? Oh wait, no, that'd probably be in the K drive. I'm trying to find the settings still, to be honest. Needs to be done. Give it a 2 out of 10. Alright. Working on it. Tell me more about Tabletoppers. Through a sponge? Really? Wait a minute. Let me try something. Okay, does that sound better or worse? That's not, but Hendy and I did a boop when doing Hendy. Hendy is 24 HP as a level 1. Oh. Oh, that's a lot of HP. Better? Oh, is it really better? That's strange. That's very strange. Because the audio program I'm using, Voicemeeter, I actually did do a test because it was just a local computer thing. And I'm always frightened of doing like a test stream on Twitch and then it being public. So that's generally actually why I shy away from it. But I did do tests. I'm like, oh yeah, it's smooth as butter. But now it's smooth as a sponge underwater, apparently. My music is too loud. Everything is just a hot mess. It's gonna take a while for it to settle in, and then something will go wrong. Or my voice is a little too quiet. Well, yeah, Voicemeeter, when I process my voice, I do bump up the volume of it a little bit, and it does have some compression. So there's a little bit of that. Your HP is too high. Yeah. Hendris is, like, don't you normally have like 9 or 10 hit points at level 1? That's, you know, double digits if you're lucky. I remember our first session in one of my D&D groups when we just got to the Underdark, and we were level 10, level 1. I had 10 HP. I was like crossing the streams there, and we were captured by the Dark Elves in a jail cell. Yeah. I think you've got an outdated version? A Voicemeeter? Because I freshly downloaded that one. I've been trying to fresh download everything. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Outdated. I'm looking on my final sheet and I've got 9 hit points. Oh, outdated version of the character sheet. Possibilities. Yeah, I think my voice meter's correct, and that it's just my stream settings are so unoptimized. We're ending up with a case that was similar to Okami, where there's just too much going on, and then audio gets turned to shit. I'm going with that. Okay, so what I'm working on currently is Mermaid Zarlark. Super buff from swimming around in the water all the time. I wanted to make something dramatic for the last monthly character art for the time being. So I wanted to play around with foreshortening and horns. All sorts of badassery. He's gonna have magic in his hand. Just go out with a bang. Perry and I just did most of her stuff, so we are good to go. I am excited for this D&D campaign to take off. Calculating armor class. I always forget how to do that. It's like every time I make a new character, there's a couple questions that I always end up asking. It hasn't drilled into my head yet. Alright. I'll deal with, since my audio's fine and things seem to be okay, I'll just put a pause button on looking for my OBS settings and instead open up my reference folder. Windows also just did an update to me, so now I have Black Explorer, and it's really weird to get used to. And also having everything organized, so I have to dig for things that I want. Like logically having to think where I put the thing, rather than just having it all over my desktop. Turn that phone off, I'm sorry. All I can do is mute it. I don't want to turn it off completely. Okay. My reference folder. Yeah, so I had I was like looking for species, underwater species to base the mermaid off of, and I really liked this shark with the crazy long tail, so I kind of based it off of that. Very loosely, because things got way out there in fantasy. It's good to have you back. Aw, thank you guys, as I drop my pen. It is good to be back. It is kind of annoying that, like, it feels really nice to have a clean computer, but at the same time, it's just always so annoying when you think you have things set up and that's like, no, these are the settings. And I have an old, I call it the captain's log. Don't judge me. I have a captain's log text file that goes through everything I should do to set up my computer with all of the settings that I like. But it changes so much, and I try to update it best I can, but the last one just got so big that my eyes glazed over. I'm just like, you know, it would be cool just backing up everything and just refreshing the computer and just figuring it out as we go. It caused so much more work for me. But it was just so much more simple to just dive in and just do it. So I don't even follow my own good advice. And it was like a lot of stuff in there because I don't get rid of, so I just build on the information from the first clean install it's based off of. So a lot of that stuff was Windows 7 stuff as well, which was no longer relevant. So I just have to live with it, get it all done, stay organized so I don't feel impulsed, or at least so it's easier next time to refresh everything. But I really was starting to get like antsy about it. Crazy antsy about it. Like I just needed that canvas purge, clean new space. Because I just let my computer turn into a dump. And unlike a house, some physical place you own where you have to just like suck it up and clean it all up, with my computer I can just hit a reset button. What a golden age of technology we live in. Kick the gnome with Perry. Is that gonna be the side quest? Get your favored enemy to be gnomes. A gnome bard. So I haven't really looked too much into it. The difference between, like physically, the difference between a gnome and a halfling is essentially gnomes have bigger heads, right? And halflings have hairy feet. Like halflings are a little bit taller than gnomes. I don't know, I've never played one of them before. I generally play either the weird, crazy, like creature characters, or just generally taller creatures. I've never played a short creature before. Should try to do that though. But I think my next one is going to be a tabaxi. If I have the chance. I'm also such a sucker for like Asmar and Eric Cochran. Anything that gives me a chance to fly at some point. It's like you can't do that in real life ever. Being able to roleplay flying is the coolest thing ever. I played a halfling many a time. Usually go with either men, hobbit, or dwarf. Sings the song of her people. I'm not a fan of elves though. It depends on the lore, I think. Certain worlds can like do really cool things with elves. My first character was a half-elf. And I've played, actually I'm currently playing an elf character. She was just kind of a filler while my main character's away, because story reasons. She's half wood elf and half dark elf. So she's taken after her dark elf ancestry. So she's essentially a dark elf. But she's a mix. So I guess not really half elf. Like she's full elf. It's just half and half. What I want to see though, like they do half elf, right? And they just assume like, oh, half elf, half human. But what if you have like how does breeding work? They never really talk about that for D&D. It's like, oh, you have all these different kinds of races that are all individually their own, and then you can have a half orc or you can have a half elf. So I guess humans are the only ones that can like breed interspecies. Like what? And then tieflings and Asmar, they're like assumed to be born of human parents. why not be born from like an elven parent? It's the low-hanging fruit there, or dwarves. I mean, come on now. If the angel can shapeshift or the demon can shapeshift to like whatever they want, then you should be able to have all sorts of half-breeds. That's what I'm saying. I'm also saying I want to see a half-orc, half-elf. Or a half-orc, half-dwarf. Could you imagine this really imposing orc-looking guy, but he's just super short? It's like he's gonna bite your legs off. Elder Scrolls mentions that. Race of the mother, a few personality traits of the father. Ah. So like if you interspecies breed, you just get the race of the mother. That seems like a really cheap out to explain it. It's like we don't want to get into genetics in our game. So we're just gonna tell you a thing. And we're gonna stick by it so we don't have to make a bunch more models for you crazy people. Meanwhile, I really want to see that because like I don't think I've ever seen a fantasy RPG based off of, you know, the D&D paradigm. I've never seen one that goes into like genetics like that, where you can have half combinations of things. That's untapped territory, guys. They should have. I mean, we have so many games now. That should be a thing. Why isn't that a thing yet? Men and American breed. That's how the Bretons happened. Yes, I do know about that part of the lore. But it's implied that men and America can't have offspring with beast race. But like Khajiit are basically mutated wood elves. Or like wood elves and Khajiit at least have like a common ancestry. Wait, no, Khajiit would have to be offspring. Like from, so yeah, then Khajiit are just mutated wood elves. That would be how it has to work, right? Because you have the original elves that then had all these sub races. Genetics aren't really a thing in Elder Scrolls. It's more often than not because of the Daedra, which is almost always Azura. She gets around. Listen, just because they don't say there's genetics doesn't mean that there aren't any. I don't know. Remember that Azura is able to curse a whole race instantly. Yeah, but that's basically, I mean, to me, that's mutation just through magic. You know, like she's able to snap her fingers and like gene splice, like do her CRISPR magic on everyone at once and just change the way they look and the way that they can interact with the, I don't know, Aetherius, like just different things like that. They're gene splicers, guys. Everyone thinks it's magic, but it's just high tech. Just able to send out her bio. I don't know how CRISPR. Do they still use like viruses? I forget. I don't know what their what's the word I'm looking for? Proxy is. I think there's a better word than proxy, but that's what I'm coming up with right now. Vector? Maybe vector is a better word. You know what I mean. Vehicle. Words. It's spaceships are a thing in Elder Scrolls. People have traveled to the moon. I want to travel there. Is there actually like anything going on in an Elder Scrolls moon or moons? Because there's 2 of them. Oh man, if people can do that, Khajiit must be like super into wanting to make that happen as a regular thing, like pilgrimages or something. Could see it. Marethnic era was way more high fantasy than 1st and 4th era. I mean, it's still stupidly high fantasy in theory, and yet game mechanics wise, it's a little bit less amazing. Like, you get all these notes about cool stuff, and I make the joke all the time with Rekaral about like, oh, people can just make portals anywhere and everywhere to different frickin' dimensions. Which, I mean, she can sort of do that too with waypoints. But it's definitely looks like different magic. It would have been so much better, in my mind, to like alleviate the hang-up if their animation was just basically like a way shrine animation, because then it's like using similar magic. If you're a mage, you should be able to just plop your portal wherever. It doesn't have to be through a way shrine. But that would break the game. Gosh darn it, game mechanics. Why you gotta be so mean? So yeah, this is definitely a messy line art one. I'm kind of like I try experimenting with a lot of different things, figuring out what I like in life, and just a lot of the time I get inspired by other artists. I'm like, I want to do it like this. I want to do this that way. And just growing as an artist in general, I've noticed that the messy line thing just generally works better for me. In terms of like my mind and like comfort level, like it's soothing doing line art like this compared to the clean line art. Like I can really get in there with like thickness and thinness of lines and just render it out. And since I'm trying to like really get back into focusing on art this year, and the different projects that I'm wanting to try to tackle are fairly art intensive. I'm trying to like just explore my own style at this point. I'm still gonna like, of course, poke around at what other artists are doing and seeing if it's worth incorporating into my own way of doing things. But I feel like I have to do a certain amount of embracing of like the messy stuff, because I was looking at the monthly art that I've done, and it felt like when I did the clean line art stuff, more often than not, it kind of lost a little bit of soul in a way. It just felt flatter. And more rigid, which, I mean, yeah, to an extent, it's kind of what it was. I'm a fan of messy. Speaking of thickness, I thought Marjimmy had more belly. I was playing around with that, and then I was like, okay, my logical brain was just, if he's swimming all the time, then wouldn't he be like jacked? So so I went with that. But if we want if we want Mer Jimmy to have a belly, then we'll go with that. I wasn't there for any of the Mer Jimmy jokes or little, however it came about. I wasn't there for that. So I don't know if there's like distinct Mer Jimmy lore that I have to abide by here. Salutations, friendos. Hello there. How you doing? I'm voting for a belly. All right, Hyperbolic J. Are you voting for a belly? Means looking up more references for me, that's for sure. Boop. Boop. That should not have popped right up on that monitor, but it did. I don't care. Ah, goodness. Apathy. They say it's the greatest evil of them all. That needs a bellow button? Oh no, there's a belly button here. Boop. There's just discussion on whether this merman should have a heftier gut or not. Clearly, merman needs 57 pack abs. Well, then I still have to look up a reference for that. I'm just either typing into Google buff male bodies or not. or the other thing. The opposite. You know, swimming all day, you'd have a dam of a boat. See, that's what I was saying. Like, if you're swimming all day, you'd be jacked, man. Why do you think? Oh goodness, my phone is going crazy. Get over there. But then again, I mean, might not be entirely true. It depends on, like, are you a cold water mermaid? Because I guess if you're a cold water one, then you need, like, more meat on your bones in order to survive the cold, right? Didn't even think about that. Man. This is what I get. Put abs on top of abs. That's not how anatomy works. Expecting more of a mermaid type of character. Then add like 2 more layers of abs. Let's hear them. I mean, when I first heard about this, I was like, oh, alright, time for like a cheeky, silly thing like what I did with the coach in Sailor Moon with Ob. But I don't know, like, I kind of sat down with it and I was like, what if I go like a super dramatic route? Because that's always fun. I do like all of these personal art pieces that tend to be more dramatic. And I kind of was into that idea. That's why, like, there's horns here. You don't really see that too much underwater. But if we're talking mermaids, we're talking like these are not They're not your average creatures anyway. But then who is Barnacle Boy? Like in SpongeBob's Mermaid? Oh, the Mermaid Man. Merman. Whatever his name is. I can't remember. Let's hear them. That the first idea for this, I was gonna do that over the top, like lots of pinku sparkles. Have Zarlark there, and then like super long flowing like Disney girl hair locks. But then I feel like since I'm making a basically a cartoon, and I wanted to keep the face simple, putting hair there would kind of just, it would be too much because that's a defining feature to like recognize who it is. Which I don't think, I mean, that's something I also really want to work on more. Like, I'm so used to doing like one-off kind of illustrations and stuff. I want to work more on my, words. Continuity would work, but I don't think that's the word I'm looking for either. My brain is just coming up with like random words and just throwing it up against the wall and seeing what sticks. But yeah, continuity works. And maybe like caricatures in a way. I want to be able to draw a person and have it recognizable in cartoon form. I don't think I'm very good at that. I've never been able, like, caricatures have always been hard for my brain. Like, it just doesn't click in a way that it should. And my style, I don't think, lends very well to, or my default cartoon style doesn't lend very well towards like it being recognizable. It's like, oh, this is this person. So all things to work on and develop. I want Disney flowing hair locks. I mean, I always enjoy doing that, making pretty girls with flowing locks. And I could do that with a dude. Be fun. People can't park here between the hours of 6 a.m. and 12 p.m. Disney hair, but it's the Oh, I mean, maybe. Maybe I could do that. Zarlark doesn't have like a wizard flowy beard though. But I could do it. I don't know if I'm going to be keeping those lines. It's more of just like allowing me to see how it's supposed to curve. The maintenance might be too much. Meant more like I want Disney long flowing hair in real life. Yeah, I would never be able to do that because my hair like dyes too fast. You get the split ends and stuff. It wouldn't look very good, I don't think, after a certain point. And it's so fine. It would just look like really long, flattish, or fuzzy hair. It just wouldn't be great. But I kind of wish that sometimes too. The maintenance, I know from people that have long hair, I wouldn't be able to handle that. But yeah, I grow out my hair usually in the winter. Right now it's kind of getting a little bit longer, and I always end up getting sick of it. Oh boy. Got to do something like that. Oh, it's time for a flip. My hair does look super fluffy, but that's because it's so fine that it kind of just sticks up. like there's no weight to it. And then, you know, when it's time to wash my hair, it kind of gets weighed down really easily by like the natural oils of my scalp. So then it just gets really flat. But yeah, it's not, there's just not a lot of hair there, so I have a feeling it wouldn't look very attractive if it got too long. Oh, I'm losing it with these horns. Too much. Too much. Hair just gets super puffy and curlier the longer it gets. The head is a bowling ball. Should I add like a little shine to it? I swear if it gets long enough, I would just curl on it. It would just curl on itself into some single area of hair. Well, there goes our lark. Now we just get to say all of the things while he's gone. Like looked pretty good zoomed out, but now like my brain's just saying, oh no, make this a little bit thinner, make this a little bit thicker. And part of me's going, I'm gonna zoom out again and it's gonna look weird and I'm gonna have to like fiddle around to make it look just right. That's how it works. I'm kind of glad that I never developed the habit of having a zoomed out window. Like I've tried doing it before with like the window workspace, like add another, arrange maybe. Yeah, add a new window for the canvas and have like a zoomed out version to look at all the time. It's one of the nice benefits of doing it traditionally. You can zoom in, zoom out, and like you kind of always have the full picture there in the peripheral. But yeah, I never got in the habit with my second monitor to do that, and I'm kind of grateful for that now that I'm streaming, just because it would be so annoying to get used to. It's like having 2 monitors and going back to 1. It's just one of those things you don't want to have to adapt and reverse to things. Alright, that has to... Does it have to curve that way? I feel like it does. Who's talking behind my back? Everyone. Or at least half the world's population when your back is turned any given direction. Internal screaming. Don't like it. Let me get this out of here. Smoke me a kipper. Oh, that's not right. Oops. Get away. Just anchor the pivot point to his skull to make my life easier. There goes my phone again. Don't like how I drew this on an angle, so trying to stretch and elongate it and fiddle around with it, Photoshop does weird things to it, which really sucks. Okay. Come on, rotate. You can do— oh my god. You can do it. Dang it. Ugh. The more I try to do horns. Okay, I need to go back to basics for a second here. Yeah, this head is super round though. Should everyone just have British accents? All right, brain. Do me a solid here. Just gonna hear that all night. Alright. Oh. Hey cat, I almost threw my phone on you, but I didn't. Isn't that great? Yeah. Almost killed my cat. That's why you always look before you throw things, guys. Either that or be extremely lucky. Seven? I thought it was 9 lives. What's up with that? Did someone do the math wrong? Listen, as far as I've counted so far with Glitch, he's already lost 2, so... And that's from me knowing him. I don't know what happened before that. At that point where I've been staring at this too long that I'm not really sure what I'm doing anymore. Fabulous. We struggle through. Just have to like mind my basic shapes while trying to also deal with the fact that it's angled. I don't think this is quite right. Maybe that's what I need. Complete change of perspective here. Guess we'll find out. Beautiful, beautiful thing about digital art, being able to do something like this. Zarlek, we're still on horns. Is my window involving windows? Tom, thank you. I didn't hear a ding from my thing here, and I was blocking the OBS screen, so I don't know if the thing popped up. I don't know if stuff is broken, is what I'm getting at. Because I normally hear an auditory signal from OBS. That's cool. But chat didn't let me down. Oh my god. It's so bizarre working upside down. Like, my brain is just telling me, oh, do lines like that. But the other part of my mind that's normally geared towards the library of, like, what a face looks like and all these things, like how they look like normal orientation, that part of my brain's just kind of like going, I don't know what to do anymore because everything's upside down. It's a very strange feeling. It's much more intuition based of what looks right. Strange. Okay. Because we're at points where I can flip it and see what we got. That ding I did hear. So that's cool. It works sometimes when it feels like it. Make it rain! Oh my goodness. Received his paycheck. Yeah, I wonder if... I think I'm probably close to a Twitch payout at this point because it's been a while. That slow build. Yeah, that could work, that could work. Okay, thank you, brain, for doing your job. Yeah, it's kind of odd when you strip away the, like, oh, this is what a face looks like kind of thing, where your brain has that recognition part of it versus the I recognize basic, like, shapes part. And when you get rid of, when you change your perspective so dramatically, it makes it so that it's easier to focus on the simple, either negative space or basic shapes of an image. So, it worked out. I think that's passable. Alright, did we get like a full vote either way on whether I've got to draw a belly. We had like one person saying draw a belly, one person saying draw all the abs, and Zarlark not caring. Tom, you might be the deciding vote. I am drawing a mermaid Zarlark. That is what I am drawing. And I wanted to make a dramatic, crazy looking mermaid, so that's what I'm at. That's what I'm doing. Ooh. Where are my references? Okay. Oh yes, make it rain. That's why I got my keyboard out. They do it right, yay! Did it again. Oh, God. Okay. That's interesting. I'm guessing Minecraft, but I'm not sure. Road sim incoming. I actually hopped on earlier today, just get my bearings a little bit. I have no idea where Carrie Twin's home is. I thought I knew the direction because I thought I remembered where she was guiding her horses, or back, or was it horses or just horse? I don't know, at least one horse. She was guiding it back to her home, and I thought I knew where that was, but then I like went over a hill and there was just more sea. So I got real sad because I was like, oh, I can build a road super easy to Animal Island for her. It'd be great. She can visit all of the horses because there's so many of them. Nope. She's next to your temple. Yeah, no, I know where she is from my temple, but I don't know. I had assumed that when she was going back home from Animal Peninsula, she didn't get on a boat or anything. She just walked it there. But I guess I was wrong. So I need to do research on that one. But yeah, if you want a road simulator, you shall get one. You need to make a bridge. A very, very long bridge. I just need to go back through the temple, find out what our chords are, and just kind of make my brain function to figure out where I need to go. And I will make a bridge. Or get ender pearls. Those hurt. You use those and you'll hurt yourself. Why would I want to do that? Plus, I have a bunch of them. I think you actually gave me a bunch. And I was like, oh, it's so cool, I get to teleport. And then I hurt myself, and then I stopped using them. So silly. Listen, it's not trivial to me. Thought I'd give you a... Oh yeah, no you did. It's how I get from Animal Peninsula to my island in the sky. It's awesome. And I learned how to land without killing myself, which is also super awesome. You can fly, yeah. Well, it's more like floating, kind of. I don't know. It is basically flying. You use up fuel, though. And it can be kind of hard, like, because you're not just, like, flying in the traditional sense where you, how do I want to explain this? Like normally when you think of flying in a game, your view is where you're heading and you kind of like move around facing where you're going. With Minecraft, it's kind of like a Winston jump where you just look up in the air. And if you look down, it's like a plane where you just go down really quick. Of course, I'm saying Winston jump like everyone's gonna understand the reference. It's more active gliding. Yeah, that's pretty much it. 5 damage out of your max health of 20, then it's mitigated by armor. When you're all geared up, it doesn't even do 1 damage. It goes straight into your armor. But your armor slowly degrades. I don't know. The damage is my armor. Yeah! You get the wings by those sunken ships, right? Or was that something else? Do I want any more of these, or did I kind of... Not sunken, but rather flying ships. Ships flying in another dimension, though. Oh, the Ender. The End. I see. I wish they did an update where they added other dimensions. I think that's like so cool. There was a few mods that I had I'd seen people use. I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. Cause I don't know, it's like a concept like Myst, where you could just make doors to other worlds and explore them, and Minecraft's all about exploration. Originally was the intention of adding heaven. Was that turned into the end? Well, they could still add whatever heaven they wanted. Doesn't have to be heaven. I would go more with like a Fae situation. The Fae Wilds. That could be heavy. It's just the jungle, though. Aether mod. Oh, that might have been it. I believe they currently want to redo the trading and then do more biomes and critters. I like having more biomes, but it kind of sucks when, like, when it comes to traveling in between them. I guess really what I would love is just some kind of portal mechanic in the game that lets you set up, and not like, oh, I can just use, you know, that frightening hellscape of lava death for that. Like bopping in from the nether and out and into all the different biomes. Like, yeah, that's a way to do it, but I'd rather just like a clear point A, point B situation. So you could have basically a library of doors that would lead to different biomes. An ender pearl dispenser? That wouldn't like allow you to jump to different biomes, like just as stepping through a portal. Like I want like another portal that will take you to another biome. And I feel like that's something that, you know, it'd be annoying and hard to set up, but I would just like, I love this idea of having that kind of room of doors. And you can like collect biomes, essentially, collect different jump points, waypoints, whatever you want to call it. A nether hub? Is this like... I feel like some of it's kind of grainy. I don't know. I'm looking at my brush and it's acting a little bit strange, it looks like, but I can't really tell. Also, my eraser settings, let's just put that on that. Much better. Okay, I'm gonna just make a duplicate of this because last time I tried to thicken the line art on the hands, it started looking real dopey real fast. But I feel like I need to do that just because it is closer in the image. And so I feel like it should have thicker line work. Maybe not as much on this finger, because I kind of want to push it back a little bit. Bring these more forward. That works. I'll use another for that and a buttload of synced nether portals. Oh. Thinking about the hallway with doors from the Minecraft story Telltale game? Pretty much that. It's more of just something that's always been kind of like a fantasy thing for me, that I always enjoyed that concept. Like, that's not a new concept. I mean, Narnia. It's just, I would love to see that kind of thing in Minecraft. That's kind of why I ended up going with like the temple that led to the nether that led to somewhere else. It was kind of my way of making a doorway to another world, essentially. But that kind of fell flat on its face, because you have to go through a really long hallway, and then my island never got as big as I kind of wanted it to be, and then I ended up just making a little tiny house and filling it with plants. That's my life. Mixing it up with Terraria. But Terraria, that had, it was just one long world that had different biomes competing against each other. If you replace a biome with blocks from another insignificant quantity, the tag changes. Interesting. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, just being able to hop from different biome to biome just sounds so badass. Alright, fish body. This line work is going to be, I think, largely painted in. So we're just gonna do a nice fade here. Minecraft is a really interesting game, and I've enjoyed what I played so far. I can hardly play single player anymore, I've noticed. Like, I try to go into it, and then I just feel so... I feel so lonely. It's like I need to play it with somebody, it just doesn't feel right. So weird. I think it's only, I only get that feeling because, like, well, there's no one there. But also, like, even the villagers have basically no souls. It's just this quiet, empty world. And then it's so bizarre, where I just feel like I'm kind of wasting time. It's the weirdest thing, because, like, in any game, you accomplish goals to the tasks that you have to do. I don't know, it's such a strange feeling I get from that game sometimes. Playing it with people is awesome though. There is a city in the Test 6 teaser. Did they do a new teaser? Or is it just like people have been doing enhance, and they found a city? Suppose it's the lack of story and lore. Maybe. It might feel a little bit better if I had that, but I feel like it's just, with games like that, my brain kind of defaults to the more social, interactive environment of it all, and it's just, I don't know, it just feels lonely. I kind of get that with Wild World, Animal Crossing Wild World. I'm not a fan, like that's the one that I least like out of all the Animal Crossings because it gives me generally that same feeling. The animals, when interacting with them, it took away any ability for you to just ask if they needed any help, right? So it took away that side quest of it. There's only so much you can do any given day in Animal Crossing. And the animals do get repetitive, just like in GameCube, a little bit less so. But it just didn't feel like you had a good depth of interaction with them. And it just made the world feel too empty. For me personally, anyway. Lots of enhancing. Like it's pure meaningless activity for the point of it. I think I battle that to an extent with a lot of things in my life. Like I feel like that's just an issue of mine. Which was why I fell out of gaming for a while, because I lost the good relaxing feeling you get when you play a game where it's like, I'm taking some time to do a recreational activity to kind of loosen up and chill out and kind of enter this alternate reality or encounter this challenge and feel satisfied for doing a thing. Like, to break it down to its purest form possible. I would just get more stressed out, essentially, because I felt like I was wasting time. It's like, well, yeah, you're doing this, but you could be doing this instead. And that's definitely, like, my own fault of, like, not having a good balance in life, I think. And it just developed bad mental habits that I still have a problem with. And also my upbringing and, you know, family stressors. But I've been working on it, and I've been getting better at it. There's still a few games where it still feels too weird, like Minecraft. Single player. Important distinction. Overall, that's actually something that's really helped a lot, is the social aspect, bringing a social aspect to it, whether it's streaming single player games or playing co-op games. It feels more like I'm accomplishing something and in my head, and therefore it feels more relaxing and gratifying. Which is messed up. I should be able to play a game and enjoy a world and savor it and not feel like I need to devote every bit of my entire being towards creating something before I die, otherwise my life isn't worth living. Like, it's just kind of a toxic mindset that's always lurking in the back of my mind there. I play video games 2-3 hours per week, but I feel super guilty when I play them. Yeah, it was a real problem for me a few years back. Like, I felt really guilty. Nowadays, it's not so bad. And that's actually kind of generally why I prefer games that are more RPG and story-oriented, or puzzles, like lower key, chiller games, because it makes me feel better about them, I guess. Like, it puts my head, my mind space in a more chill way of thinking. Like Far Cry, I'm relaxing in the forest. Harvest Moon, I'm building a cute little farm. Animal Crossing, I'm enjoying building my own little nest and talking to cute animals. Like, it's just this calming experience. And because it's a calmer experience, my mind is kind of focused on that and just enjoying that. almost like when you don't want to do anything and you just want to watch a movie or a TV show, like having your brain just relax. It's kind of like the effect it has on me, which is just really nice. So I don't get all wound up that I should be doing something else. Minecraft for me is always better with others, which is why I have been losing the love for it the last 2 months or so. Ah, I see. Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, I fall in and out of Minecraft. It's just the way it is. Because there's so much stuff that you play, and then I notice that with Minecraft, like, you can just play for hours and hours. It's ridiculous. You can just get absorbed into it. And I've experienced burnout with that game, where it just becomes too much. And then you get back in, you get sucked back in. But it usually takes like at least a month or so for me to reset. So I want to get into a joint creative project, so said in your Discord. Well, I feel like, I mean, joint creative projects are good. Totally depends on the kind of project you want to do. Like, is it going to be technical, or is it like a really loose thing of like, hey, let's build a really cool treehouse or something, like, and you just have a loose idea that you just kind of riff off of. Currently have quite a bit of stuff to do. That's true. Hendris is... I don't know why you're even still awake here. Just 2 more weeks filled with insomnia. Oh, yeah. And beer and frustration. Just want to play Minecraft and feel useful. I'll let others decide the creative direction. Ah, the carry and fetch guy. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because I was like saying, like, you gotta have some kind of idea what you want, but if you're just like, hey, let me carry this stuff. I mean, I'm building roads if you want to help with that. Just building roads from place to place involves a lot of shovels and placing dirt in places that doesn't have any dirt so you can continue the road. I want to be the gopher. My sleeping hours are from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Oh my goodness. I see. And it's so relaxing as a result. Yeah. What I find interesting is in games, I find it relaxing when it's like you're given a task to do, a simple task, and you do that, right? I find that kind of thing relaxing in its own way. Like Harvest Moon, you're doing repetitive tasks over and over again, essentially. But they're like wholesome tasks. In the real world, it's like sometimes my mind just gets overloaded by all the things that I need to remember and tackle and do. And it's not like there's anyone right there telling me, oh, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's like you have to make your decisions, do your research, figure out exactly what you want to do, and go and do it. And one of the soothing things I found in gaming is that because it's a predefined story or anything else, it's like it tells you these are the tasks you have to do. Like, you can figure out your own way to do them usually, but it just simplifies things. That's my joy of gaming. and like weirdly collectathons, but not anything that's too over the top. But I do enjoy those. Like, I've had moments where I've kind of wanted to get back into Assassin's Creed to collect all the little things around town that I didn't really... Like, I think I pretty much collected all of the watchtowers. That was my thing that I really liked doing. And I still do in Far Cry Primal. I'm like, I'm gonna open the map, collect all of the map areas so I can freely explore. But you got all those shiny things too. Unless the game fucks up and you get all the salt. Never played Harvest Moon. I love Stardew Valley though. You'd like Harvest Moon. Like the old Harvest Moon. Or what's the new name now? God, why do they have to make it so confusing? Because it was originally Harvest Moon and now it's something else because they lost the rights to their own name. Song of Seasons or something? I think that's the new brand name. I should look. I should see what new Harvest Moons are actually out that are like the real Harvest Moon and not the poop emoji Harvest Moons. Hand holding? You mean like patronizing tutorials? I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it can also just be hand-holding in general where it's not even a tutorial. It just thinks that you can't figure it out, so it's just going to tell you in, like, normal game mechanics. Story of Seasons. Yeah, okay, cool. I get you, Hendris. As I've said before, I feel like there's a balance in all things. You need to find the correct balance for a thing to be good. I like the joy of simple tasks. But if it gets too handholdy or patronizing, then yeah, it's annoying. But that's why I like games that give you a task and allow you to figure out your own way of figuring it out, kind of like a puzzle. Like Breath of the Wild and Zelda, you can go like they give you the task of, okay, you need to get through this dungeon or you need to save the world, but you go out into the world and you're able to tackle things how you would like to tackle them. This is probably a poor example, but it's what I got. Or in Harvest Moon, they're like, you gotta save the farm, but there's plenty of different ways to do that, and they're all like simple and nice and wholesome. You could build a ranch, you could plant a bunch of turnips. Has anyone played Kind Seed? Actually, I have on this channel. I played the it wasn't like a beta. It was the preview essentially for it when they were doing the Kickstarter. I played it and I was like, hey guys, if you're interested in this game, do check out its Kickstarter, because this looks amazing. It looks really intriguing. It's changed quite a bit, because I put some money into it, not like enough to really get anything, but I put some money into their Kickstarter, so I get like the little newsletters and stuff, and I've been seeing how it's been more polished. It's come a long way. And I think I just noticed a message from them that they were out in like early access on Steam or something. Played on Steam? No, I played it before it was on Steam. It was still in Kickstarter, so but then they put it up on Steam as something that was coming out, and I think it's just in early access now. Fairly recently. So it's definitely worth playing, I think. It kind of hits my sweet spots as far as I can tell. Like I said, balance and everything, and one person's balance could be someone else's imbalance. So, but it has the changing of the seasons, which I dig. It has the characters growing up, and you can control the other characters, which I enjoy the concept of. I played like Harvest Moon, It's a Wonderful Life, and I did enjoy the fact that like the world aged over time. I never got to the end though. I'm pretty sure you can't control your kid. It's just the ending is whether the kid takes over the farm or not, and all of your hard work either goes to shit or not. But yeah, and that's the normal. I like the exploration aspect too. I don't know how much exploring they'll have, because when I played the little preview, you could only walk around a small part of your farmland, I guess. It wasn't really farmland. It was just basically an open field. But I do enjoy that. That was one thing that I really was wanting for in Harvest Moon games, like more exploration. I felt like there wasn't enough of that. I could explore the whole map, and then I knew it. It wasn't that over the top. I did enjoy that in certain seasons, like winter, certain things would open up because water would freeze. That was pretty cool, but in general, it was underwhelming. That's why I think I would probably, if I had a Switch, which I just cannot justify ever buying, but I think that's why I'd probably really love the new Pokemon games, because I always loved the exploration in them, but I hated the random encounters because they would just get annoying after a while. But they kind of take that away now, yeah, with like the Pokemon actually showing up on the overworld. So you could just freely explore. Of course, it is set in Kanto, which I know pretty well. So it's not perfect. Oh, Mermaid Man's going to bed. That means it's almost 8 for me. Or 20. Alright, bye Zarlark. Sweet, sweet dreams. Marwan offered exploration in a video game and that I'd never experienced before and I loved it. Yeah, that's why I fell in love with Skyrim. I think that's why people fall in love with Elder Scrolls, to be honest, like when you first play it, because all of a sudden you have this world to just run around in, and that was just crazy and amazing and wonderful. Like, I will never forget my personal reaction when I played it, and I think it was Rayloff just kind of said, alright, see you later, you can come hang out if you want, okay, bye. And I'm just like, oh, I can go anywhere. just that feeling where it was like, anywhere? I'm not confined to a certain level, a certain zone, a certain city. Got 15 minutes. Well, I'm just like fapping about on the line art. I'm not really going crazy like I should be. All right, I think at this point I can block in some of the base color. Now, there's actually other stuff going on him. I've got like some clothing elements, and body patterns, I guess. Words, can't do words anymore. So I'm gonna be like drawing more stuff, but for right now, I'm just trying to get like the base line art done. And then I'll probably block in some colors and those body paint designs, and then put the clothing on at the very end. Clothing in quotation marks. More like accessories, really. That is not a color I'm willing to stare at. I could stare at that. Okay, I'm gonna turn opacity and flow off so I just get a nice hard color here. I'm just gonna make my mask. And I probably could have just magic tool selected and filled him in, and it probably would have been pretty okay. So my line art is pretty thick. I have to go around the outside of the line art no matter what and double check everything. But this is one way I can do it. I will, however, I could just make a new, try the other way really quick and just check the results of it. Where is my magic wand? There it is. So I select, yeah, because there's going to be like little dots and stuff. I don't like that. Oh well. Select inverse, and then we're going to modify it by contracting 1 pixel, and on this layer we'll just fill in, and I mean either way. Oh wow, okay. I need to horizontally flip? Oh no, this is still on rotation, isn't it? Okay, hold on. This whole time. I didn't know. Okay. No. Horizontally flip. There we go. We're in our correct orientation now. That's probably why I was freaking out earlier about my brush strokes looking a little weird. Okay, so this one does look a little bit cleaner, but then I have like these little things that I have to watch out for. I think that's just gonna be a recipe for me to skip certain marks, accidentally miss them, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm gonna switch to this, and I'll clearly know what I have to cut. It's not that rotating when I shouldn't be. It's not that complicated of a design with lots of lines and stuff, so this way doesn't really take that long. What I am gonna do is use a mask for this. It's funny, I'm using a mask for this to eventually create a mask, but it is like weirdly pixelated. I knew I wasn't like going crazy. What is, because it's supposed to be like that. But every once in a while, when I stroke and erase, I'm getting like weird pixelation. Oh god, I'm gonna assume it's some kind of error when you're rotating and doing line art, and Photoshop just has a brain aneurysm. I don't know for sure though. That's kind of irritating. That's why I kind of have a love-hate relationship with rotate anyway, because when I'm trying to do a detailed piece of anything in my illustration and I'm rotating the canvas to get a better angle, it won't look accurate because the pixels are slightly askew. But whenever I've put it back to its correct orientation, it looks normal again. I don't normally get these pixelization I'm getting here. So that's worrisome and new. I got addicted to janky ES games in 2002 with the release of Morrowind. The world was different then. I don't play Skyrim. I didn't want to deal with fixing a game for the developer. If it looks like Garbador out of the box, it's beyond my caring. I got you. I feel like you're getting a certain crowd of people falling in love with that game where it's essentially that is the game to edit and mold it. It's almost like how Minecraft is a sandbox for creation. Elder Scrolls games can be a sandbox for creation where you just edit and build upon what was already there. And that's definitely not for everyone. And it can be frustrating when you go back into the game and it's like, oh, I found a million more bugs to fix, or I get another idea for something to be better, instead of just accepting and appreciating something for what it is. Like, you get into a headspace with ESO games where you just look so much more critically at it, I think, and you don't give it as much leeway as you do other games because you do know that you always have the power to fix it. Or it's like, I would rather have this, so I guess I'll just have that, you know? Where in other games, it's like, I have to live with this. Whether it be a story decision or like making a difficult choice. I found it kind of funny. And I had used it in the past too. There's a mod that, because you have to choose between the Blades and the Greybeards at one point. You just have to. She's like, no, this is my decision. I'm like, you need to man up and kill this dragon because reasons. And people were like, no, you should be able to convince her otherwise. And so there was a mod made so that you could choose to have both the Blades and the Greybeards. And it's things like that where it's like, you're just able to choose whatever you want, or even like god weapons and stuff. You're able to just create this own world escapism view, and you know you have that power, you have that there. That temptation is real, so it's like, why not abuse it? And then you just get into that headspace all the time of just tinkering and modifying rather than just living with what is. So I was 17, I turned 18 later that year. I was 3. I believe I first had a SNES with Mario side-scrolling platformers. And then I got a Game Boy, and that made me discover Zelda. And I've never been the same since. Parthenax Dilemma mod, yeah, that. And I think, like, yes, I agree in the fact that the player should have more ability to communicate with NPCs. You should be able to dispute and discuss things. But I think the whole entire point why they had that in there was because you have to make a difficult decision, and you're going to be losing something either way, but also gaining something cool depending. So, you know, that's life. It is almost 8. Love to have this finished, but I don't think so. Like, however much we hate the Bethesda choices they gave us in the game, it's more of a case like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it like you don't have to settle with anything they give you. So even if they're trying to create some kind of tension in the game, you can just neutralize it, you know? Like, even if they did something intentional, it wasn't like some weird bug or them being lazy. Also, a few RPG elements, like how in Morrowind you had to choose a great house and then you risk lower disposition with other ones in other guilds. Yeah, like those are the kind of choices where you have to make a decision, and you're never gonna get your cake and eat it too. But I feel with modding, one of the, not like a danger of it, but essentially a pitfall of it, is that you can have your cake and eat it too. And then, you know, the complaining still won't ever end about all of, like, the criticizing over the game and all the little things wrong with it and stuff. It's just, I guess it's just a way of changing your viewpoint towards that kind of game that makes it hard to get out of that critical headspace. So, but I mean, like, that's kind of also a problem with learning how games work. It takes the magic out of it, I guess you could say. Like, understanding how something works generally takes the magic out of it because you understand it. And I think it's kind of in that same vein where you're not limited, and therefore it just loses the magic of just accepting things for what they are. I don't know if I'm explaining things right. Like, trying to articulate my little opinion on the whole matter, but here you go. Maybe Obsidian should make ES6. I don't know. Maybe. I feel like they could probably make a really good game if it wasn't for the fact that, personally, I think there's an imbalance in their game design philosophy when it comes to KISS. I feel like in game design that should be something that counteracts the vicious want for detail. Like, it's supposed to be a refocuser, you know, you get bogged down into the details, you want to create this living, breathing thing, whatever project, even like an illustration, you get caught up in those little details, and then you have to step back and use KISS to kind of rebalance your way of thinking, of being like, no, it doesn't have to do 1,000,001 things or have all sorts of crazy detail in it. It helps you refocus on the core values of what you want to accomplish. And I think, personally, they just start with KISS, and that's their problem. Where they try to keep it simple from the very beginning, and I think that cripples some of the creativity that could be really cool in a game that's essentially supposed to be a D&D single-player simulation. Like a fantasy life simulator. That's what they were going for at the very beginning. And that's why people had fallen in love with it. I don't like KISS as well. No, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I actually love KISS. I'm a minimalist at heart. I love that. But the way I love it is in that you can peel back layers. You can focus yourself on discovering the core of a thing and what's really important, and just pare things down. That doesn't mean that something has to go from being complicated to being simple. It just means that you're only keeping what actually really matters, what really drives the point home and makes a thing a thing. Like, it still has all of its working parts, but none of the extra distractions. And in an environment like when you're building a game, it's super imperative to have a clear focus, because that's how things get cut, or like problems arise because you get lost in what really matters, and like you need to hit that deadline, so you need to know what you're supposed to do and get it done. And that's why I can see why they would love KISS so much, and then use that as their leading mindset in building a game. But the caveat in that is what I've already discussed. Plus, they spend years and years making these games anyway. Like, you have other studios that push them out way faster. So they already have a reputation for taking like 10 plus years to make a game. They should take their time and actually get bogged down in the details. But I think they have other issues, and that's why things take so long. So, who knows? Could be they're fighting with the game engine for half those years. It's 2 a.m., okay? My brain is allowed to have hiccups. I mean, when it comes to design big worlds. I see. You're also allowed to disagree with John. For a second there, I thought I saw that as you're not allowed. I'm like, wait, what? I want to know what the heck Hyperbolic was saying earlier. What was he saying earlier? Or she. Okay, I'm gonna close some of this stuff out here. So I'm ready to wrap up, but maybe I can help you with the thing. Maybe, if you remember what was said. We were talking nonsense. I would need more context. Sometimes we do just talk nonsense. Sometimes I feel like I'm saying something that makes sense, but it could just be nonsense. It's funny, like Hendrix is, you're still going at 2 a.m. I would be completely brain dead. I'm already slightly brain dead at 8, alright? Getting older sucks. She's also a super intelligent girl, and I want to know what she meant. I don't know. I could scroll up. What nonsense. Learning how things work makes it more magical. It shows the vast effort that went to it. Is that what you're confused about? I can see that alternate view of like learning how things work makes it more magical. Like, I feel like there's always usually an opposite viewpoint that can be quite valid. Like in this case, yes, I can also agree with that. I feel like generally it's so weird to describe. Like, you gain a new sense of magic while you lose the old sense of magic. You lose a certain sense of like that childhood wonder magic of not knowing something, of it basically being magic. When you learn how a thing works, it's a completely different feeling towards it being a magical thing, because now you have this almost power. You can create that thing because you know how to make that thing, or at least even if you don't have all of the tools available to make the thing, like you know how to. So you gain like a power, and I think that's a magical thing too. Is that creation, that understanding. But I feel like it's a different feeling, and I feel bad for having lost that to a certain degree when I understand how things work. It's like spoilers to a movie where you understand the plot, so it doesn't, you don't get that crazy unknown gasping magical feeling of not knowing a thing, but you can still have a certain like magic in knowing how things are going to play out, so you can look at how everything works together and see the beauty in that, and the focus the creative people had in setting it all up to have that moment of just plot twist. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I can understand the point. It's different kinds of magic to me, essentially. So curiosity is one of my biggest assets in creativity. Oh, definitely. To me, it makes it much less magical because the mystery is gone. But yes, see, like that's why I was trying to use a movie as an example, because I can still derive joy out of watching a movie that I've watched before, as long as it's a decent one, because I can see how the people put together the pieces in order to lead up to the event that holds magic for people that don't know that it's coming. But again, it's a different kind of experience. It's a different kind of magic. But knowing how things work is wondrous. You see the beauty in how the machine behind it works. It's like looking at a great Rube Goldberg machine. Yes. Yeah. Look up optimistic nihilism. It's pretty much how I view life at the moment. Oh, I might be with you on that. I'm not entirely sure because I don't know the exact definitions, but I might be with you. But no, it's definitely two kind of magics to me. It's a coin. You've got two sides of it in my head, and I miss the magic of not knowing, but I love the magic of knowing because I feel like I have so much more agency. Like learning how to use Photoshop to make digital art. Digital art was like something so mind-blowing to me because I didn't know how it worked, but now I do, and it's its own magic, its own beauty to it. It's life. And like the creation kit, I love being able to go in there and make things happen. And the aha moments when I figure something out and suddenly learn more about the inner workings of things. It's great. It is a feeling of magic, but I don't know. I feel like everything has give and take in this world. This is 100% serious mode. No cap is involved. Never sure if you're being sarcastic or not. All right. Thank you guys for staying till the end. I appreciate you. The monthly OC art lottery. Oh no, I'm gonna have to take that down. Get started on making you guys some stickers and some little postcards and Patreon stuff. It's kind of where my head's at. Cough. Spread the word if you enjoyed the stream. Check out the Discord if you have not, and check out the events tab on the Twitch channel to know what we'll be streaming next. Of course, Zarlark might have muddied the waters with God mode. I don't know if he has anything in particular planned for Friday tomorrow, so the events might not actually be all that accurate. But assuming Zarlark didn't change tomorrow, I think it's going to be ESO. So, looking forward to Rika Ral's return to adventuring throughout Tamriel and eating many chickens. Feel free to join the D&D campaign tomorrow. I might lurk, but I'm in like 2 D&D campaigns, and it's really more than enough for me. My limit was originally 1, and I really wanted to keep it at 1, but life happens. So yeah, big thanks to Tom184 for the resubscription. You are a beast. 19 months, holy shit. Feel free to lurk and chat. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I probably will. I enjoy jumping into that chat every once in a while anyway, looking at all of them. So yeah, if you have comments or feedback about the stream, you can share them as usual to the feedback links on the Twitch info panel or the Read Me text channel on the Discord. And now only Andy needs to roll his stats. Oh my gosh. Ob dragging his feet. Tell him just to re-roll his cleric and just kneecap everyone. I'm sure that won't change his alignment. Alright. As always, from my heart to yours, good luck.